Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Healthy Thursday is not just about diseases. It's about food, lifestyle, milestones in the medical practitioners field, especially in our Muslim Ummah, and more so, your health. Discover breakthroughs and milestones in the medical field. Amani juu yako mtazamaji, wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo, unatizama The Sabah Show. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nikitumai mzima ubuheri wa afya mpenzi mtazamaji. Rasmi na kukaribisha katika kipindi The Sabah Show, ikiwa kila Alhamisi huwa tunaangazia masuala yako ya afya ukiwa nami Mariam Mwacharo, na hapo baadaye basi tutaweza kuangazia masuala ya kina mama ama kina dada zetu pale wanapojifungua, yani process nzima ya kujifungua, na ni vipi mama ama kina dada zetu wanafaa kujiangalia ama kuangaliwa pamoja na familia. Jukumu la familia baada ya mama kujifungua ni lipi, and what type of care should a mother get, yani prenatal and postnatal care. Last week tulikuwa, ama rather the weeks previously, tulikuwa tumezungumzia kuhusu prenatal care. Basi this week tutaweza kuconcentrate on postnatal care. Kumbuka mtazamaji, tunakupeperushia kipindi chetu kutoka katikati mwa jiji la Nairobi, kitovu cha Kenya, hapa katika jengo la msikiti wa Jamia, afisi zetu Horizon TV. Unaweza kuungana nasi katika mitandao, kurasa zetu za mitandao hapo Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @Horizontv Kenya, ama vile vile uzungumze nami moja kwa moja katika Mariam Kasim pale Facebook. Na kutoka kwetu basi nasema karibu hapa Kenya. Huwa tunauliza hamjambo, kule Tanzania nasema cheichei, Waganda pale kaka zetu tunasema mulimutia, na kule Rwanda wanasema mwaramutse. Nikiendelea Somalia wanasema iwaran ama fianta na vile vile pale Ethiopia wanasema indetne. Basi karibuni sana katika kipindi The Sabah Show, kabisa nikiwa na kikosi changu cha wachanganuzi wa masuala ya kisiasa na uchambuzi wa magazeti. Nikiangalia upande wangu wa kushoto pale bwana Abubakar Mushiri amekuwa kicheka zile salamu, na Clinton Abongo, karibuni sana.
Shukrani.
Moja kwa moja tuanze. Salamu nyinginezo naulizwa basi nitaweza kuzipeana katika vipindi vijavyo. Unajua uwezi kumaliza kila kitu wakati mmoja. Tukianza pale na gazeti la Standard, taarifa iliyopewa kipaumbele pale, Raila, we are ready for a powerful premier. Opposition leader says parliamentary system is the best way to stop election-related violence and ethnic division. And the story goes on to page 8. First question is, we used to have, the parliamentary system before. You think this is the best way to go forward, Abu Bakr?
First, when the handshake came, there was a lot of suspicions, especially from the Jubilee camp. We had people looking at it that Raila has come for the handshake, but he has come to break Jubilee from within. As much as we saw the rifts in Jubilee, arising from the handshake, there were other reasons why Jubilee has had its rift, its weaknesses. There has not been unity. It's because people have a difference in focus. People have different agenda, and that was one of the major reasons, except the handshake, which brought some chaos in Jubilee. But again, when we talk about the handshake, it was not all about the politics in it. It's not all about creating that unity, and then you'll be able maybe to get half of Jubilee votes in 2022. You'll vie for presidency and such. you know, it was not about that, but that was what Jubilee was suspecting. You know, Waitito was saying once in a chat that if you are praying, you are in a meeting somewhere and Raila is present as Jubilee party members, and you are praying, you should not close your eyes because, you know, you do not know what he's planning. But again, I see the sincerity in the former Prime Minister in the interest of this country at heart, because I have always, you know, been for the option for the parliamentary system. What he's talking about is about a change in the electioneering system in this country. Like what happens in Britain, what happens in the United States, that, you know, for a presidential election, it's not the citizens who vote, but it's for the parliament, it's the parliament who votes for the president. And, you know, that is very positive because it reduces the amount of money that you spend in campaigns. It reduces the political tension that happens in the country. Some years ago, we used to have universities that, you know, each and every university student, you know, could vote for the president. And what was happening, you know, when it came to campaigns, I mean, university was chaos. You know, classes were almost not happening and such. But look at what happened after you know, that system was overhauled and they brought in a new system whereby the delegates and the congressmen and such were the ones to vote for the presidency. At last, we have sanity. You know, we have decorum in the electioneering system, and that's what the former Prime Minister is suggesting, that in Kenya let's have our Senate and our National Assembly vote for the president. How great will it reduce the amount of money used in campaigns? Because if politicians use a huge amount of money in campaigns, for example, in a presidency, if I'm vying for president, I mean, you cannot have a person with ideas clinching a presidency seat in Kenya. For example, the likes of Dida and such. I mean, as much as you have an agenda for this country, you cannot win. Why? Because you require almost $1 billion shillings for your campaigns. I mean, which is, it's not right from the word go. So, but if we had this kind of form that you are able to, you know, to talk to the members of parliament, there will be less politics, and it will, to a certain extent, reduce the amount of corruption. Because if I'm using less money for a presidential campaign, then that incentive to try and regain back the money I pumped into the campaigns will not be there. But again, he's talking about a powerful prime minister. You know, the suggestion that is there is that there should be a powerful prime minister, and then a president, a deputy president, but then the president is ceremonial.
Yeah, but he refers to, if I may just throw this up to Bwana Abongo there, he also says that, you know, the former prime minister was a strong proponent, as you've just said, of the Bomas draft in 2005, which had proposed a governance system with a president, a deputy president, and a prime minister. And he says he insists that it was the best for the country. You have the same view?
So on the parliamentary system, actually every system has its setback and also the advantages. But in the parliamentary system, I think there are more merits than the disadvantages. Why? Because we are saying that if we have the members of the parliament going to vote for the presidency, there is that we don't use a lot of money in campaigns, and also to reduce the political tension, and also other merits like to serve people at heart, and also to encompass everybody in politics. But again, as everything that has a positivity may have a negativity. What if we have a negativity in this? But we considering that we are going to have a parliamentary system which is a step forward, which is going to be the best way. Because to me, I think it is the best way. If we, like in the universities now, we have the delegate system where the students vote for the delegates, then the delegates vote for the executive. But in this case also, we are going to have MPs who are going to vote for the executive. But however, it is very good, but we can have a setback, like what if the persons are bribed? Like in the universities, there is that form of bribing to delegates until to an extent that if an election is supposed to start at 7 in the morning, or rather 8, then it is starting at nearly at 12. Why? There is still tension where we see who is the best candidate and who has given much money, who has given what and what have you. But in the system, I think it is a good system that we should have.
You know, again, we talk about electioneering system in Kenya. You know, Raila has this view, you know, that these proposition of that system that he's talking about. But again, the deputy president has a very opposing view. He's talking about, what is trying to happen here is we are trying to have first an election in which it's not about the winner takes it all, because this is what brings division in this country. That after every election, we have that tension of violence, because we have, like last time, like 53%, 45%, almost half of the country is heading to one direction. Slightly more than half is heading to another direction, which is not right. So what they're trying to suggest is, how about with the number 2 is given, positions in the government. But again, that could not work. The deputy president was, was proposing of the second best in the race then should be the official position, which is very positive.
And that's the prime ministerial position.
Not really the prime minister, like official position in the parliament, minority leader and such, that you have the critique against the government in its setback. So these are, we have the former prime minister Raila, Ruto. Both, it's not that all the systems, like Raila system is the best or Ruto system is the best, but let's look at what is good in both systems so that, we can agree on something that can help the citizens of this nation.
Sure, let's take a look at the Daily Nation there. We have Uhuru reaches out to Somalia over border. Now, President Farmajo insists dispute must be solved by international court, and the story goes on to continue on page 6. If I may just take a look at that story and give you a sneak peek there. Kenya was last evening playing down Somalia's apparent rejection of another bid for an out-of-court negotiation of a maritime boundary dispute with Nairobi, insisting it was only an initial offer. Somali President Muhammad Abdullahi Muhammad, also known as Farmajo, on Tuesday night met the President Uhuru Kenyatta in New York on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, and they go on to speak about the border. And this also has been covered in one of the other dailies here, saying that dialogue is the way to go in order to solve this particular dispute that is between Kenya and Somalia. What are your 2 cents on that, Abongo?
Actually, I think there is power in dialogue. There is always power in conversation, because when you all, as per now, everybody is nearly learned. However, we might have a little bit of illiterate persons that are more elderly, but we have so many people who are learned. So I believe in the power of conversation. Me having, like in the post-election violences and even any other violence, what if you could just calm down and have a seat around the table, drink tea as you discuss? You'll come to a decorum where you'll have the best interest of people at heart, as opposed to fighting over land issues on the borders. What if we extend, because always the problem that we have in the borders is this country A and country B wants to extend to the other side, and country A wants to extend to the other side. What if we have a discussion where we decide on what if we put it at this place, so that you also get some of the part and I also get some of the part. I think discussions and dialogue is always a positive.
Babakari, you are itching.
Discussions and dialogues are always positive, but look at it. It's all about interest. These are countries' interests that you're talking about. And why the president, Kenya, is seeking for dialogue is because, like, the chances that Kenya stands in winning the ICJ is very little, 30%. That's why, Kenya is seeking dialogue. And the reason that Farmajo is refusing to go for dialogue is because he has an assurance that, like, there is a higher probability for Somalia to win the case, and he's receiving support from foreign countries, Britain and such. So he's on a higher table in terms of this border dispute going to his side. But let's we can converse about this. If at all the ICJ decides, you cannot force someone to have a dialogue with you. So if Somalia doesn't, want to agree with Kenya on something, because what they are avoiding is sharing. They will pleasantly want to dialogue with Kenya, but they do not want, of course, if they sit the two countries, they will be talking about withdrawing the case at the ICJ and, let's divide this to a certain extent. It's about sharing. But Somalia is saying, if there is a higher possibility for us to take it all, then why should we have a dialogue? And that's the issue that is arising from it.
Okay,
But
let's pause there. I'm being told that time is really running. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back on uchambuzi wa magazeti papa hapa Horizon TV. Mtazamaji, kumbuka unaweza kututegea katika mitandao yetu Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @Horizontv Kenya, ama pale YouTube Horizon TV Kenya. Usende mbali. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji. Wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama The Sabah Show.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Healthy Thursday is not just about diseases. It's about food, lifestyle, milestones in the medical practitioner's field, especially in our Muslim Ummah, and more so, your health. Discover breakthroughs and milestones in the medical field. Learn how to manage diseases.
That was not painful.
Join the discussion. Make better decisions on your meal plans. Improve your lifestyle.
All the doctors who are there were tired of working in maternity and taking care of women. And they say, you are the new kid on the block. We are leaving this department to you.
Healthy Thursday is about you, about your family, your lifestyle. So keep it locked Horizon TV on Healthy Thursday with me, Mariam Mwacharo.
تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا.
Ni kitabu kitukufu.
Qur'ani ni kitabu ambacho cha miujiza
Kilichoteremshwa kwa mpangilio.
Hazikuletwa harufu hizi za mkato moja kwa moja.
Hakuna mfano wake.
Na hamwezi nyinyi Makureishi kuwa ni wenye kutunga kitabu kama hiki ingawa zimetumia harufu zile ambazo zimezitumia katika kuandika au katika kusema.
Miujiza yake Al-Malik.
Mwenyezi Mungu ana uwezo usiokuwa na kifano.
Ni malengo ya Qur'an.
Khazain zote za ardhi na samawati ziko mikononi mwake.
Sheikh Muhammad Badamana na uchambuzi wa Qur'an kwa undani kila Alhamisi saa 3 usiku kwenye Horizon TV.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji. Wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama The Sabah Show. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mpenzi mtazamaji, shukran sana kwa kuendelea kutegea the premier Islamic TV station Horizon TV. Nacheka manake tulikuwa kwenye dialogue hapa kidogo nikachekeshwa nikatekenywa mbavu zangu, lakini nikiangalia gazeti la Taifa Leo pale habari iliyopewa kipaumbele ni ile ile tuliyotoka kuiangazia kabla hatujachukua mapumziko, kwamba waziri mkuu ni lazima. Raila anasema twende tuangalie gazeti la People's Daily. Habari pale iliyopewa kipaumbele ni kwamba how Kiraitu ended Raila's prison hunger strike, and it goes on to say Meru governor recalls how ODM leader had refused to eat for a week but accepted food after he cautioned him not to play into Moi's hands while in detention rather. And the story goes on to page 7 there. It's just a road trip into history, talking about, you know, how Kiraitu and Raila and how the Moi's rule was. But the question here is, you know, I got a question on social media and somebody's asking, should some rule, you know, Moi was really impactful into the country of how he really governed this country, you know, children and everybody. So should these presidents, say Uhuru Kenyatta, take a leaf or two from Moi?
You know, each and everyone, you know, first talking about Nyayo milk and such, you know, those are the little, you know, we can talk about. Moi Kibaki, we can talk of SGR, the Jomo Kenyatta, independent and such, but, you know, it's all about your style, how you do your thing. If you are the president, if I'm the president, I'll do my thing, you know. If I'm focused on development, if I'm focused on, you know, national songs, you know, each and every, the TV stations during Nyayo time, you know, it will start with songs, patriotic songs. But Uhuru doesn't do that. So it's all about uniqueness. We are all unique in our own different ways. But, you know, His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta was focused, you know, on development agenda. He was focused on leaving a legacy. Unfortunately, you know, he has not had you know, a person who will support him fully in that. You know, somebody who can hold his hand and give him the moral support that he needs. Yeah. Because we have experienced financial crises, you know, corruption, you know, some division in Jubilee, which will be the party to drive the nation forward. You know, so there are challenges which have come with it. But again, I look at African leaders and look at how much they did, you know, to gain independence. You know, some were fighting in the forest and such. You know, but what saddens me is the likes of Robert Mugabe, who are doing guerrilla warfare and such in the forest, who lived for years to gain independence for their countries. But when they get into power, I mean, they do not let the power go when it's time, you know. They hold on it for too long. And again,
and I think that's a problem that we have with all most of the African leaders in our African continent.
It's a culture, you know. It's a culture that is there, and Museveni and Mugabe will probably sit and ask Kibaki, why are you leaving the seat? So it's something that they have done a lot. Raila has been tortured, he has been arrested, he has done a lot for this country, but unfortunately we only remember them when they are in their coffins. It's so unfortunate. But again, look at the time you are alive, as much as you have achieved what you have achieved for the country, like, do what's best for the country. Like Mugabe ruled a dictatorship which was not right and such. So as long as you do people good, do not expect something in return. Do not expect to be in power for the whole of your life, just because you did some people.
Let me call Abongo's attention here to the star on the splash there. It says, crisis at City Hall as Sonko's reign of chaos goes on. And it says, MCA warn of paralysis, fault county chief's management style. Now, management style of Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko here has been faulted. It goes on to continue that story there on page 4 and 5, and it says the mass suspension, he's actually suspended 16 county officials, including his super CEC, Charles Kerich. And it says the mass suspension followed the recent tragedy of Precious Talent Academy, where a collapsed building killed 8 pupils. And the story goes on to say that nearly half of Sonko's cabinet will be serving in an acting capacity, meaning they cannot make some decisions. Do you think that the government is putting Nairobi County to jeopardy?
Some do say that this move was political, such that he's weighing whether when he sets these people off, then there is that balance that might also go for the term again, which I don't think is the case. Him suspending these officials was as a result of the tragedy that happened in Dagoretti. These were, some of these officials were the people who were concerned, because if we have like the people, the personnel that were in charge of urban planning, and personnel that in those who are the engineers of the urban planning again. So, you know, when I don't know why in Kenya it is said that we are always in a rush. We always do things when things happen. I don't know why. While we can always prevent these issues. Now, just after a tragedy is when we want to, like I saw that the CS is now vacating some students again to another school. Why had not vacated earlier? It is in Kenya where things happen, and then there is, however things happen, and then we have repercussions. But the repercussions that we have in Kenya, we have in Kenya are always mostly negative, I think so. Because if we can always wait for something to happen and then we take that step forward, we are it seems like we are taking one step forward and then again coming and relaxing, then you rest again and wait for some time, then take another step forward.
Abubakar, very quickly.
There's nothing political about what Sonko is doing. Sonko, the county government officials have highlighted their fear of losing their jobs. These people are not, you know, sleeping peacefully. Not because you do not know if the next day you go to the and you're told you are suspended. I mean, you are a whole cabinet secretary for finance and economic planning in the capital city of Nairobi county government. You wake up and you're fired.
But that's the reality in the whole of this country.
No, I mean, his working ethics is off the hook. I mean, because, you know, if the people you are working with are not in full support of you, they do not understand what you want for the county. I mean, it's like playing for Arsenal players, you know, they play without knowing the tactics of the coach. So there is no way you can head forward, you know. So, and again, I think that move is immature. Suspending cabinet secretaries who do not even know what was happening in the school.
So what was the proper move to do? What was the proper move to take?
I mean, the county government could do less about it. But it's all about, you go down to the school. The owner, you know, the owner yesterday was giving a speech somewhere. And he was saying, you know, the school has been running well for 10 years. You know, I don't know, 7 people said over 400 marks, others over 350 marks. The school was doing well. This was an accident. But let's look at it. Is this accident from a point of negligence, or is it just an accident? So if it is a point of negligence on the construction of the building, then we can take to account the one who was involved, you know, in the construction of the building. So
instead of suspending so many people over that issue.
I'm a cabinet secretary for finance. Why are you suspending me for a school?
I get that. I get that. Let's go on to the next story on page 8 there of the Star. It says senators want KRA to collect levies for counties. It goes on to say senators have proposed a change to the law so that the Kenya Revenue Authority can collect revenue for counties. The lawmakers says counties were losing revenue running into billions due to leakages associated with systems they use. They cited administrative inefficiency, gaps in policy, weak laws, and collusion between unscrupulous county officers and cash collection firms. You think this is a good move, KRA, to actually collect levies for counties instead of the county leaders themselves? Because yes, we have had money is getting lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
To me, it is not a smart move. I know Abubakar might be of a different idea. To me, it is not a smart move actually. Why? Because for example, you heard of Keroche.
Yes.
Now, we've heard of several companies defaulting on KRA. I don't know why KRA is always bringing this issue, while if you say that Keroche has defaulted to an extent that there was some billion shillings that are not given to KRA, what were the KRA officials doing by then? You are waiting until this time such that you can tell us that you are working. You are not working. If you sit back, rest, and then come to this issue and it is up such that Kenyans know it, then you are not working. Again, to the counties, to me, I think it is not a smart move. Let the counties always collect their revenue by themselves such that they can use it back, or even if it is brought to the national government. And so, because if we have KRA, we will say that we are going to sanitize on the collection of the revenues, but yet we will still have those government officials, county government officials who will, because there is a coalition within that area, we will say that we will have those county government officials who will feel like we are now we are set back one step back, because now if the collection is given to KRA and we were supposed to be doing this ourselves, it is not a great move to me, but I know
Abubakar, what's your thought on that? Should KRA actually collect rather revenues for the counties?
KRA should not be collecting revenues. First, you know, the reasons they are citing why they are saying they want to collect the revenues is they are saying county government has weak systems in their collection of taxes, and thereby they are ending up, the money is being collected, but it's ending up in people's pocket. And the little amount that, you know, is going to the county government, again, there is no utilization of it. So KRA itself, it's talking about the faults of county government collecting taxes. They themselves have not been collecting taxes for Keroche, other industries and such. So, I mean...
So what's the best move? How do we protect monies in the counties?
You know, yeah, county governments should continue collecting money because that's the purpose of devolution. And again, but look at what is happening in the national government. We have a revenue authority which is in charge of collecting taxes on behalf of the national government. If the county government collects taxes, of course there'll be very many loopholes for people to be stealing the money. We should have revenue authorities in each and every county government which are under the mandate of Kenya Revenue Authority. And in such a way you are promoting devolution, and in another manner you're reducing the amount of money that is going to corruption.
That's a good point. Let's take a look at the page 24 there of the Star. It's an interesting story. Gatundu octogenarian wish He says, don't bury my body, use it for studies. And he says John Kihyunduku, who has surprised fellow Githaruru villagers in Gatundu South by declaring that his body should not be buried when he dies. Instead, the body should be used in the study of human anatomy at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology School of Medicine. Now, this is usually not our culture as Africans. We believe when you die, you need to be buried, sent off to the next land or the next life. So, especially in Islam, I don't think this is actually allowed. Abu Bakr, if I may start with you, what are your 2 cents on this? Because I remember when we were looking at the story, we even had a laugh because he actually wrote on his wish that he actually curses anyone who goes against this will.
I mean, it's hilarious the method in which he wrote the will, because the last of it, that I curse anyone who goes against my will. But again, from the point of Islam, I'm not a sheikh, so I wouldn't give a fatwa on this. I wouldn't give a fatwa on this. But again, you're looking at African tradition. It's not a norm. You know, people in the village, I was reading the reports, they are utterly surprised by it, but you know, they have also to respect the wishes of the dead. And you know, he's saying the reason, what motivated him to do this was he received top-notch treatment from Gatundu Level 5 Hospital, and he wanted to give back to the society in a way. Maybe he didn't have enough finances to do that, and so he decided that I'll give my body after death, so that, you know, for study, so that we can have, you know, better medical students and such. And the guy is 86, so, you know, and so he said he'll give it to JKUAT, so they are probably waiting for his death, unfortunately. But again, you know, these are individual decisions. These are individual decisions.
And you should respect his will.
We should respect.
Very quickly, 30 seconds, Abongo.
Yes. On the issue of, it is not our culture always to be giving out bodies while we are in our culture. We always know that there are those 4 stages of as you come from birth, then we have initiation, we have marriage, and then death. But in our culture, we always know that if somebody dies, then he is taken back to his home and then buried, as opposed to the America where if you die, then you are taken to a cemetery. But in now this case where we have somebody writing in his will to be taken to for studies, to me it is positive because it is coming to our school, the Jomo Kenyatta University of Technology.
So it will help in study.
It will help in studies, but again, it is not our culture to usually do that.
It's not our culture, but you think we should respect his wishes in his will?
Actually, if somebody writes his will or her will, it is always very wise to use it as he is saying, because like you saw the one for Cohen, and also we have another one, and any other person who has always written a will, it is always followed to the last. So this one should also not be given any other setback, but used as it is said.
Let's take a short break, mtazamaji. Kumbuka unaweza kuungana nasi katika kurasa zetu za mitandao Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @Horizontv Kenya, ama bisha nami pale kwenye Facebook @Mariam Kasim. Usiende mbali, tunarejea muda usiokuwa mrefu. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji. Wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama The Sabah Show.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Healthy Thursday is not just about diseases. It's about food, lifestyle, milestones in the medical practitioner's field, especially in our Muslim Ummah, and more so, your health. Discover breakthroughs and milestones in the medical field. Learn how to manage diseases. Thursday with me, Mariam Mwacharo.
practiced this direction from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala perfectly.
Reminders from the member.
Msije mkafata nyayo na barabara na njia ya shetani.
Saa ingine Muslim anafikiria ni kupata mali neema.
With the best of hatibs.
We tasted the pleasure, the sweetness of ibadah, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said,
there are no times that can be equal to these days except maybe.
Tune in to Horizon TV and watch the khutbahs from different masajid every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. 5 p.m.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji. Wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama The Sabah Show. Na mtazamaji, shukran sana kwa kuendelea kutegea the Premier Islamic TV station Horizon TV. Kumbuka tunakupeperushia vipindi vyetu kutoka kitovu cha Kenya hapa jijini Nairobi, jengo la msikiti wa Jamia. Ofisi za Horizon TV. Mtazamaji, unaweza kuungana nasi katika dialogue yetu hapo kwenye mitandao yetu Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Horizon TV Kenya. Tunaendelea na uchambuzi wa magazeti, ikiwa hii ni awamu yetu ya kipindi cha Lala Salama katika kitengo hiki. Tuangalie gazeti la Nation, The Standard pale. Ukurasa wa 4 ni habari pale inasema 207 pupils relocated from unsafe school. Now MPs want all schools audited afresh to ascertain they are safe for children. The Ministry of Education yesterday relocated 207 pupils from St. Catherine's Children's Education Center Bombolulu to Ayani Primary School in Kibra, Nairobi. This is after Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha ordered the school closed due to safety concerns. And he says that this is just the beginning. He is going to continue the overhaul of our education system in the country, and I think this is actually something good, considering the safety and the health conditions that were actually also exposed yesterday in our dailies for our children. What's your 2 cents on that, Abongo?
It's very sad that we are always losing pupils now and then. The other time the vehicle ran on a pupil, the other time we also had a child that drowned, and now we have another tragedy altogether that was very impossible to prevent because it is a natural tragedy. So with me, I think that on these issues of schools currently, because I know that if a school is supposed to be registered, then for example we should have at least 30 toilets, that is 15 for ladies and 15 for men, and according to the regulations 15 the other toilets for the ladies should be a bit far from the toilets that the boys use, and again the urinal should be at least 6 meters. But in this case, in these issues, because nowadays we usually find that there are so many schools actually in story buildings, and I don't know why. As I was being brought up, I'm actually brought up in a very local settlement where we usually went to school. The school is only meant for the school compound, and we have the building as a school. Yes. And then nowadays I see so many, if you move to places even near where you are coming from, you get that there is a plain view school, and it is just actually it was a rental, then it was changed to a school. While you change that the way a house was built, for example, if this house you get a house which was built, and then you want to remove some we call them partitions, and then you want to use this as a class. What if this partition was the one holding strong this building? We are endangering our children, because if you want to say that in here now and then we are going to lose children because of things that can be avoided. And while this school was being registered, what was happening? Why was the people in charge, the personnel that were in charge for registering, did not go to the school to audit the school? The school does not have even a pitch. The school does not have any other. The school is just the school as it is. And you might find that there is a school on the first floor, then on the ground floor we have houses. How do we survive? Yeah. Actually, I think on these issues of school there should be a great audit, because if we have the population is growing. that one I must concern that the population is growing, and we need children are entitled to education as any other person. But we should use the best way and the direct legal ways, so to build our schools and to build any other institution for learning.
With that note, Abubakar, do you think now we should close down the schools that are on actually apartments or flats?
You know, I saw the move for, you know, the driving schools, that if a driving school is not on a 1 acre piece of land, then it should be closed.
Yeah.
So should it be for our schools.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we cannot have substandard institutions, you know, private institutions started by businessmen with the intention not of educating pupils, not of giving back to the society, but for the interest of profits, you know. You know, they compromise on the lives of people, you know, they compromise on the standards of health in those schools. I mean, it's very unfortunate. So, if possible, then we should put some form of, you know, regulations that these are the level, these are the standards that if you do not have, you know, this number of classes, if you do not have maybe a certain amount of compound where children can play and such, then it's not qualified to be a school. Then, again, some few years back, 2-3 years ago, we were seeing buildings collapsing. Now it's a building in a school which has collapsed. And again, I see these not first, you know, some form of negligence from the Ministry of Education, because they have not been going to these schools to see the conditions which the pupils are studying in. Because as much as you're concentrating on exams, saying, you know, this region you're performing poorly, but are you going to look at the welfare of those students? Because these people do not have pit latrines, they are flooded, you know, their conditions are pathetic, you know, it's very unfortunate. And again, look at the, you know, the Kenha, the institution cited with the overseeing of buildings. Are they doing their jobs when it comes to also public institutions? Because if you are talking about a building somewhere, talking about a building, you know, in town or something, then people are passing there. If the building collapses, people will die. And again, if it's in the school, then students will also die. So the Ministry of Education do its part, and then Kenha also do its part in terms of buildings.
Let's take a look at page 5 there of the Standard. It says Kabogo wants Uhuru Raila out of 2022 poll, and he says that former Kiambu Governor William Kabogo wants President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition chief leader Raila Odinga out of 2022 poll. He says that, you know, he goes on to say that because of the building bridges they came together, but when they actually go to the 2022 polls, they will actually bring the country, you know, they will separate the country into two. Do you agree with that, Abubakar, very quickly?
You know, first, let me say, you know, from where we come from, it's not Kabogo, it's Kafogo, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, but talking about Uhuru and Raila out of the presidential poll, you know, it's not about taking them out of 2022. It's all about finding a permanent solution. You know, permanent problems need a permanent solution. So it's all about uniting the country, erasing that ethnic division, you know, that tribal line in which people vote. You know, it's very unfortunate. And if this was to happen, it's not about building bridges initiative. Yes, there will be some form of unity when, you know, Uhuru and Raila are in peace, you know. But what about the future? 20 years to come, it will not be Raila and Uhuru, you know, bringing ties, you know, unity and such. So, and if unity is to start, if we are to erase the tribal, regional, ethical division, you know, politics that you have in this country, it has to start with the parties. How do we form our parties? Our parties are on tribal basis, unfortunately. And if you are to have, you know, parties with a national outlook, parties which are ideologically based, then from then on we can erase the ethical divisions.
So you think, do you agree with him or you don't agree with him?
You know,
should they stay out of 2022?
They will have to be involved in some certain way. You know, they have an influence. They might not be in the ballot, but they have a say, definitely.
Heading on there, let's look at the Daily Nation on page 11. If I may ask just your, you know, thoughts, 2 cents on this. You know, a 46 billion shilling Likoni bridge to approach 3,000 people. Now it says thousands of Mombasa residents are said to be affected as the government moves into demolish buildings to pave the way for the erection of the 46 billion Likoni bridge. This comes days after Japan and Kenya signed an 88 billion deal for the construction of the 1.5 kilometer Mombasa Gate Bridge and the Dongo Kundu special economic zone. And I think these 3,000 people, yes, will be displaced, but I'm sure the government has, you know, means and ways of actually compensating them, because the bridge is actually going to do more good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if the government has that in store, where they are going to compensate the persons that are going to be affected, it is a wise move. But again, if I read the papers, I think it was the money which was signed for is about 88 billion.
88 billion,
and
yes.
the money that is going to be used is about
46 billion. Yeah.
Where is this other money going? You know, in Kenya, there are some things that we usually leave, but they are very essential. Because if you say that this is how the Japanese government is going to finance this project, they are going to finance, and it is on loans. Who will pay these loans? Because we are actually taking loans on a daily basis. We are, and we don't know who will, because we are all, for now we are saying that even our grandchildren will be paying for the loans that were,
they are on debt.
They are already on debt. So I think if we are going to take the loans, let us take loans that are, if it is 46 billion, please take 46 billion to go and use on the, because the other time we had that we are getting some millions and then using 10 million for wireless transfer. How does that happen? Using 5 MBs to send, you use 10,000 for 5 MBs. That does not apply even for 1 bob. I think, however, it is a great move if the government has a strategy on how they are going to compensate the persons that are going to be affected. Again, it is going to create jobs for the shortest time possible within the time frame that the bridge is going to be built.
Yeah, if I may call Abubakar comment on this one, this is also on development. On page 39 there, it says relief for consumers as Cabinet Secretary rules out higher power bills. Now, Energy Cabinet Secretary Charles Keter has ruled out any increase in electricity tariffs, dealing a blow to efforts by Kenya Power to show up its revenues. And he goes on to say that he's actually advising, you know, Kenya Power to actually look up geothermal wind to lower the, you know, the cost and stop actually charging people high prices. I think you should be in support of this move, right?
Of course, I'm in support of the move. But again, you look at many other times, you know, goods are expensive. Sugarcane is expensive in Kenya. Maize is expensive in Kenya because we have high production cost in Kenya. And therefore, you know, the cost of sugarcane that you're buying from farmers and the cost of maize that you're buying from farmers, it's so expensive compared to importing, you know, the goods from foreign countries. And again, it's from the price of fuels and such. Energy costs are high. But we have seen the government taking alternatives. They have started a wind project in Turkana, and this and other geothermal projects. You know, these are some of the things that, you know, they are going to reduce the production cost, and therefore, you know, create a better economy and you know, better working environment in the country. So it's all about the government taking that incentives, you know, subsidizing goods and investing in projects that, you know, lessen the burden on the side of the citizens.
Yeah, true. Let's take a look at People Daily, page 6. MPs want Ngilu arrested for toxic anti-Muslim remarks. And political leaders from the northeastern region have accused Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu of making derogatory remarks about members of the Somali and Muslim community and demand her arrest. Now, the story goes on to say that Ngilu actually told the people of Kitui to actually be up in arms, ready to actually, you know, defend their lands and their farms from the herders who bring their cattle. Now, propagating for violence, yes, that is wrong. But I think nobody should take their cattle into somebody's farm and actually, you know, graze them into a farm, because this is food. Don't you agree?
Yeah, to be honest. But let's look at it. You know, if herders are bringing their animals into other people's farms, then we have police who should be doing that job. It's not for you to take, you know, panga and, you know, start attacking. Again, you cannot take the law into your hands.
Yeah.
So you know, we have police instituted in Kitui County who should be, you know, hard on this. You know, they are there to protect the interest of the people. They are there to provide security. Then, if a person is being, you know, is at his home and, you know, someone is coming to his shamba, I mean, it's very bad. So the police might not be doing much on this, and that's why, you know, there is that incitement, you know, to that let's fight for our rights, because there is a negligence on someone's side, you know, the police. But again, we cannot say, it's not proven, you know, legally proven that it was Ngilu's words. But again, violence in all times should never be an option.
Yeah, let me call very quickly to your attention to this story here. Taifa Leo pale ukurasa wa 4, Sankok apanga kujiuzulu siasa kwa kumfilisisha tangu ateuliwe. Na mbunge maalum wa chama cha Jubilee David Ole Sankok ametangaza kujiuzulu siasa atakapokamilisha hatamu yake mwaka 2022, and he says that, you know, the reason why he's actually leaving politics is because when someone is elected into power here in Kenya, people tend to go to him for money, thinking yes, now they owe him, and people are saying that it's because he was an honest leader, that is why he became poor. Do you agree with that?
To some extent, it is always true that if you are in a leadership position, more so in the governmental opposition, then people will come to you to ask for money or such other thing. But again, if you are honest and saying that this is why you are failing as a country, then you should leave the office and let other people come to the office. I don't know why it is in only Kenya where we use a lot of money for campaigning, while you can use even 2 million to go for a position like a member of parliament, while your salary on a monthly basis, if added for the 5 years, then it will not amount to that much. Why are we using that one? It is only, we always say that if you use this amount of money for going for this position, then there is something you are going to get back. Because if you want to use 2 million, I think, Abubakar, if you want to use 2 million to go for a position, that will not, your salary will not amount to this much. Then you are going to steal from us. But now the politician has said very well that is very honest that this, because of this issue, he has said that he is going to come out of the elections because he is very honest that people are asking for money. But you know, you represent us. But I don't think that he owes the persons, or rather his subjects. He doesn't owe them anything but to deliver as a politician.
I am told that we are out of time, Abubakar. I'm sorry, I know you wanted to make a comment on that story. You are very passionate about politics, of course, but we can continue this dialogue out of here. Mtazamaji, shukran sana kwa kuendelea kutegea Horizon TV. Nasema asante kwa kuwa nasi katika kipindi hiki, awamu ya kwanza, uchambuzi wa magazeti na wachanganuzi wetu. Hapo baadaye tutaweza kuangazia masuala kina mama wakati wa kujifungua na baada ya kujifungua, je, ni vipi utaweza kuangaliwa. Kwangu mimi nasema shukran sana kwenu kwa kuweza kuja na kuweza kuchangia katika uchambuzi wa magazeti. Tuonane hapo baadaye, muda usiokuwa mrefu, sende mbali. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji. Wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama The Sabah Show.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.